Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope for April 2025. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order: rising sign first, then your sun sign, and finally your moon sign. So I'm going to break down April into 4 weeks, and I'm going to pay particular attention to what the moon is doing, how it moves through your chart, which one of your houses it sits in, and when, so you know where it supports you and in what areas of your life. So starting with week 1, Tuesday the 1st until Sunday the 6th of April. On the 1st of April, we have the moon in Taurus, and that's in your fourth house of family and your roots and your most intimate relationships. And it's joined by Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and the unexpected. So this first day of April for you is a really great day for family relationships, to spend time with your loved ones, your nearest and dearest. And there may even be some sort of positive surprise that comes out of spending time with people you love. On the 2nd and 3rd of April, we have the moon moving into Gemini, and it joins Jupiter, the lucky planet, and that's in your 5th house of what you love to do and what you love in terms of romance and relationships. So these 2 days are great for you in terms of dating, meeting new people. But what's interesting is that we still have Venus, the planet of love and beauty and prosperity and creativity, that is in retrograde until the 12th of April. So for you, meeting someone around this time may be something that's a little dangerous. Be on guard. It may seem like the right person, but may turn out not to be. Where it does support you more is figuring out what it is you love to do in terms of your work. So if you're an Aquarius who's undecided about career, the 2nd and 3rd are great days to figure that out. On the 4th, 5th, and 6th of April, the moon then moves into Cancer, and it goes into your 6th house of daily routine, the structures of your life, work, and even your physical health. And it joins Hades, and that's the part of the chart that you really don't want to look at. And also Mars, the planet of masculinity and drive. And that's in a sign that it also isn't particularly comfortable being in. It's in Cancer. Mars rules Aries, where it's able to get things done and get things moving. When Mars is in Cancer, it's forced to take care of things. So the 4th, 5th, and 6th are great days for you to look at things about your own physical health that you don't want to look at, that you may have procrastinated on. Exercise, your diet. It also allows you to look at the routine of your life, whether you're working yourself into the ground or whether your routine is something that's more sustainable. And these 3 days offer you an opportunity to make changes which allow for a better result in the long term. Particularly on the 4th of April, we have the moon reaching its 2nd quarter, so we have a half moon, and it's waxing, it's getting bigger, on its way to becoming a full moon on the 12th of April. So on the 4th, you may find that you get this surge of energy that allows you to break old habits, especially habits that aren't necessarily good for your own physical health. So in the first 6 days of April, the moon moves through a few houses. It starts in your 4th and it ends up in your 6th. And that's the 2nd quadrant, houses 4, 5, 6. And that's really the base of your life, the root. So what you love to do, what your body is all about, what your daily routine is about. So you're able to kind of look within, stay home as such in a metaphorical sense, and get your house in order and to make sure that things are as they ought to be. So week 1 is kind of a personal week for you. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 7th till the 13th of April. On the 7th and 8th of April, we have the moon in Leo, and it joins your transiting ascendant, which is also in Leo, in your 7th house of relationships. And they oppose Pluto in Aquarius and Pallas in Aquarius as well. So Pluto is transformation and change. palace is wisdom. So again, this opens things up for you to meet new people. The seventh house is more about acquaintances, about colleagues. But again, be on your guard because you may meet someone who seems like the perfect new business partner, but with Venus still in retrograde, it may be a little iffy. So just be very careful before you jump into things head on. The plus side of Venus retrograde is that you're able to see things differently. So people you already know in your circle who you may dislike or who you may be uninterested in, you may connect with those people and see something that you can actually appreciate, or you can see the beauty in someone where before you didn't see any of that. So it can bring you closer with people you usually have problems with. On the 9th and 10th of April, the moon moves into Virgo and it goes into your 8th house of institutions and authorities. And this is really helpful because Mercury is the communication planet and it rules two signs. It rules Mercury and Virgo. And when Mercury is in Virgo, the switch is on the inward setting, so to speak, and it's about analysis and detail and learning and absorbing information like a sponge. And in that 8th house, over this 2-day period, the 9th and 10th, you're able to get anything done that has to do with bureaucracy, red tape, taxes, the government, mediation, any legal issues. You're able to look at those things, come up with meaning that will allow you to resolve any of those issues. On the 7th of April, the good thing is that Mercury, the communication planet that rules Virgo, goes direct. So there's very little chance that you end up with the wrong meaning or getting things incorrect. So really throw yourself into sorting out any of those issues and you'll be very happy with the result. Then on the 11th, 12th, and 13th, the moon moves into Libra and it goes into your 9th house of travel, education, and the higher realms. And on the 12th of April, Venus, the planet of love and beauty, does go direct. And also on the 12th of April, we have a full moon in Libra. So the full moon is when the moon reaches its completion point. It lets go of all of its energy and it showers us with its energy. So you'll be receiving a ton of Libra energy into your 9th house. So that will inspire you to explore new places, to travel if you can. Also, there'll be a major curiosity about learning about new things. So if you find that you're interested in a different subject, really devote yourself to that. It may lead you to places. But also, if you're an Aquarius who's been trying to have a spiritual breakthrough, the 11th, 12th, and 13th are ideal for that. So in this second week, the moon starts on the 7th in your 7th house of relationships. And on the 13th, it ends in your 9th house. So that's the third quadrant, houses 7, 8, and 9. And that's the top half of your chart, or the right-hand side of the top half of your chart. And that's very much about relationships that aren't really, really intimate. It's about business dealings, officialdom, and then it's about exploration and broadening your horizons. So that's what this second week is all about, and it allows you to really learn and to discover new information about things that you weren't an expert in. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 14th to the 20th of April. The moon is in Scorpio on the 14th and 15th. And that's in your 10th house of work, and it joins Black Moon, Lilith, Vesta, and Juno. And that's really helpful because in your career, if there's anything that's being done that's not above board, or if you're being told to do something by your superiors that you've questioned or instinctually it hasn't quite felt right, if you do any digging, if you do any research, you'll discover the real reason for what's happening. And you'll be able to either bring those to the surface or you'll find a way of amending those circumstances so that they are above board and that you're happy to continue with them. Or it could mean that if you're in an organization which is fundamentally dishonest, that you discover that, hey, I am not compatible with this company and I may have to make some changes, some bigger changes, so that I'm working in a way where I'm comfortable and I'm not doing anything that is harmful to others or that goes against my personal beliefs and values. On the 16th, 17th, and 18th of April, the moon goes into Sagittarius, and it goes into your 11th house of hopes and dreams, which is really beautiful, because what that means is, let's say the 2 days prior to that, the 14th and 15th, you discover that this organization I belong to, or this work that I've been doing, it's not been for the right reasons. The 3 days afterwards allow you to hope and to dream and to consider what could be. On the 16th of April, Mercury ingresses into Aries. So Mercury, the communication planet in Aries, is very, very direct and very focused. And it's in your 3rd house of communication. So you'll be able to find alternatives, plans B or plan C or even D, if the current working situation isn't what you thought it would be. So you'll immediately be able to focus on alternatives that could be incredibly exciting or motivating, or that could present the solution to the problem that you've got. On the 18th of April, Mars goes into Leo, and Mars is the planet of masculinity and drive, and it moves into Leo in your 7th house of relationships. And again, it joins your transiting ascendant in Leo. So the ascendant is really your default setting. It's who you really are. And Mars in Leo is very confident. So the combination of that with the moon in Sagittarius up there in the 11th says that I'm strong, I'm confident, I don't need to settle for anything that goes against my beliefs, and I don't need to compromise myself or put up with anything that I am not on board with. So it gives you the confidence to make the changes if changes need to be made. Then on the 19th and 20th, this is amazing, the moon goes into Capricorn, and it goes into your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength. And the moon is your heart. Capricorn is the sign of the worker, and it's willing to do the outer work, the actual bricklaying, the heavy lifting. And it's also able to do the inner work, and it's an earth sign, and earth is a feminine element, so it's about receiving. And being in your 12th house, it means that over the 19th and 20th, you'll get messages from the higher realms that say, this is a better way of working. So it's interesting because it sounds like for a lot of Aquarians who are in job situations that aren't ideal, you're being given opportunities to make changes. If you do discover that everything is perfect and as it should be, you still get the chance to dream and to pursue new things. And here on the 19th and 20th, you'll still get messages about your work, how to improve it, how you could work differently. But on the 19th as well, we have the sun going into Taurus, and it goes into Taurus in your 4th house of family and your roots. And it's really what makes you feel like you belong and like you're grounded in life. And Taurus is a fixed earth sign that has to do with taking control of the physical world, and it's often associated with money. So the combination of these things may be a mixed blessing or a blessing in disguise, because it says, if you're in a working situation that does not work for you, here are all these alternatives that you could try that will work much better, that will create more abundance for you, and that will also give you a sense of pride and like you're doing something that is above board and that's ultimately designed to help other people. On the 20th as well, we have the moon reaching its 4th quarter. So another half moon, and this time it's waning, so it's getting smaller, and it's on its way to becoming a new moon on the 27th of April. So what you've got then is this stillness to receive spiritual messages that say, why not try this? It might have a better outcome. And you won't be restless or distracted, and you'll be able to hear that message and then implement it. So in this third week, the moon moves through. It starts on the 14th in your 10th house of work, and it ends up on the 20th in your 12th house of spirituality. So that's your fourth quadrant, and that's about transcending the existing self. So your hopes and dreams are revived, spiritual messages come through, and they all have an impact on the work that you're doing, or if you're a student or you're retired, what you're working towards or what you're studying. And if anything is off, the universe is helping you redirect things and shift things so that you are back on track. Week 4, Monday to Wednesday, the 21st until the 30th of April, the moon is in Aquarius on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of April. So it's in your sign, and it's in your first house, where we have Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, death and rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes, and Pallas, which represents wisdom. And this 3-day period allows you to really get back to a place of self that says, I know what I know, I have certain gifts, I have certain talents, and I'm able to rebirth myself in a different setting if things aren't the way they're supposed to be. And on the 21st of April, we have Mercury reaching its greatest western elongation. So look for the planet low in the eastern sky just before sunrise, and Mercury is in Aries in your third house of communication. So you'll see it twinkling and you'll see it pointing at a new direction in your life. So this is great for any Aquarius who wants to change their life completely in terms of the content of what they're doing and to find a new goal. On the 22nd and 23rd, we have the Lyrids meteor shower, and the best viewing of this meteor shower will be after midnight. And the constellation Lyra is associated with music, harmony, and creativity. So you'll associate these shifts not just with the hardship of, oh, I have to change job, or I want to change my career. There's something about my life here, and this is part of my life's journey, and there's something beautiful involved in being able to make these choices for myself and saying, this is what I agree with, and this is what I agree to be a part of, and this is what I remove myself from. It's really what reveals your character and who you are as an individual. A lot of people despise their jobs and stay in them for years and years and years. And in this case, you don't have to be that person. On the 24th and 25th, the moon goes into Pisces, and it joins the North Node and Venus and Saturn in Pisces, and they all sit in your second house of money. So what is revealed to you here during this 2-day period is your life purpose, as far as how you're supposed to create an income, what is it that you love, and what's going to create real security in your life, both in terms of how you feel about your work and the money that you're making. On the 26th, the moon goes into Aries, and it joins Neptune, Mercury, and Chiron, which are also in Aries. And the interesting thing about this is on the 30th of March, we had Neptune leave Pisces, where it had been for about 14 years. And on the 30th of March, it went into Aries, shifted from your second house into your third house of communication. And now we have the moon adjoining it on the 26th. So it's really time to take the dream that you've had for a long time and to implement it. So it's one of those situations where something happens that may be inconvenient or that you hadn't planned on or that you wish hadn't happened. It's likely to happen this month, but it allows you to realize your dream. And unless this circumstance came into your life, you may have missed this opportunity. So keep an optimistic kind of frame of mind on this and say, I have considered something possibly as a job or as something that I want to study or I want to engage with, but I've never really got around to it because I've been so busy. This is the time now to make that a reality and to pursue it in earnest. Then on the 27th, 28th, and 29th, we have the moon going into Taurus, and it goes into your fourth house of family and roots. And on the 27th of April, we have a new moon in Taurus. So the moon is pitch black now. It's pulling in a ton of energy, Taurus energy, and it's pulling that into that fourth house next to the transiting midheaven, which represents your work, and also Uranus, which is the planet of the miraculous and the unexpected. So what's amazing about this, the 27th particularly, but also the 28th and 29th, is that you now are given the confidence and you're being given fertile soil in which you can plant seeds that will grow into a career or a business or businesses plural that are unconventional, that are a reflection of who you truly are, and that will grow into something fabulous and prosperous and lucrative and something that fulfills you in terms of this is what I'm actually doing. And it also provides you with abundance and having more than enough. And then finally, on the last day of the month, on the 30th of April, the moon goes into Gemini and it joins Jupiter, the lucky planet, also in Gemini in your fifth. And here it's the good luck and the good fortune. Gemini, if you look at the glyph of it, it's a Roman numeral 2 and it looks like a doorway. I see the way forward. I see how I'm going to do this differently now. And if it's not about work and you're an Aquarius who's totally set, this is now catching a glimpse of this is what I want in terms of my romantic relationships, and this is what I'm looking for. So ultimately, Aquarius, this is a month for you where you get it. You understand what's important to you, the direction you want to be going in, and you have the confidence to say, I am no longer going to engage with things that go against my personal beliefs and values. So that is called being a good person as far as I'm concerned. So in this last week, the moon starts on the 21st in your first house of self, and it ends on the 30th in your fifth house of what you love. And that's pretty much the bottom half of your chart, quadrants 1 and 2, minus the sixth house. So this is all about what makes me feel like I belong in life. What is my perspective on who I am, the world? How do I create an income? How do I want to create something that makes me feel like I belong and that I love? So you have a chance to turn things around and to take things that are meaningless or even create a negative influence in your life, and you're able to go off on your own and to create something that really has a lot of positive meaning and that you have a lot of pride for, and that then builds your own personal confidence. So I know it's not the easiest of horoscopes, but I hope you have a wonderful time here in April. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. To draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then I can use sunrise. The problem with that, though, is that the ascendant and the house placements are going to be off. There's a process called chart rectification where I can manually work out your time of birth. You send me 10 or more significant life events, and I can work out exactly when you were born, and then those placements are accurate. And once I have that information, I can see what your life purpose is, what your vocational aptitudes are, where you're naturally blessed and supported and you don't have to do very much, and where you have to maybe put in a bit more work. What's destined for you in relationships and spiritual development and education and travel and romance and family. So if you have any questions about that, please do get in touch with me via the website. To look at what's coming up in future, I look at your progress charts and transits. If it's around your birthday, I look at your solar return chart, and that shows me what's coming up in future over the next few months and the next few years. So if you're in a transition period and if you're looking to make changes, then those are perfect to kind of give you an idea when it's best to make the leap and when it's the best time to start something new, or when to wait, when to hold off. If there's anything around location or moving, there's something called astrocartography, which shows me what parts of the world are going to have a positive impact on you and which parts of the world aren't going to have a positive impact on you. So if you're considering a relocation, then please do get in touch with me as well for the astrocartography. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. That's what helps the videos show up in searches. Subscribe for more videos in future. And please share this video. That's what helps the channel grow. I hope you have a wonderful time here in April. And I'll also do a daily tarot reading on the channel. So please consider becoming a channel member to watch those. For your membership, you get 30 or 31 videos a month. I do that every day of my life. It is my passion. I hope to do that for as long as I'm around. And I would love to see you on there. So please become a channel member. Have an amazing April, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.